What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to the Cafe Podcast and Pod and a Pint, episode 3 of season 2. We are in the Masonic Arms on Lark Lane, a brand new. It's absolutely lovely in here. We're nicely snugged away in one of the snug rooms. It's very nice. Yeah. We are Mick, Moran, and joined once again by Pete Bolster. Pete, nice to have you on, lad.
Yeah, good to be back.
Give you a little cheers
good
there,
to be back. Yeah, lovely booze of this as well, isn't it?
Yeah, nice. Very nice inside. Yeah, Guinness is good. So yeah, a bit of a different pub for us, but we're nice that we've been looked after, so can't complain. But yeah, how's it going, lad? How's everything?
Really good, mate. Yeah, 6 points from 6, isn't it? I've had a boss summer, so I'm happy about that. And really good start to the league season. We'll get stuck into that at the moment because there's obviously problems ahead as well, isn't there? There
is. I mean, there's plenty to get stuck into, but like we always do on these shows, it's going to be an opening question. I gave Pete the chance to have. So I write 2 now. And I give the guest the option to pick one, but the second one was a bit shit probably. So this one is, if you could have 3 meals for life at a fast food chain, which one would you choose? We've just had a little discussion about this, like there's a few options, but again, you can go Mackey's, but you're going to be a fat fuck in 6 months. Do you know what I mean?
The problem is with Mackey's, isn't it, is that for me, you can't get past the breakfast, and then if you've not made it by 10:30, you're a bit like, I don't get it, you know. Yeah. So like when you see people and they're ordering Big Macs and quarter pounders at 25 to 11, what's that about? Honestly,
that's
like,
mad,
honestly, or if you go to a service station, you see people with a bucket of chicken from KFC in the morning, and you're thinking, what is that? So for me, the answer probably just to be like healthy, not to be a fat fucker. I'd have to go with Subway. Yeah. But if you've had a Subway breakfast, it's a bit weird. So I feel like I'm being punished there, but like, but you could probably work it so you've got like a nice meatball marinara sub every now and again, and the Italian BMC, that's pretty decent. So I think I'd have to go with Subway.
Yeah, well, I think we narrowed it down. The 2 that I think everyone are going to pick is Nando's and Subway. I mean, I was thinking about like Slim Chickens, like the new like American ones that are like fucking sweeping over here and all that. But again, it's in the Mackey's category where fried chicken every day.
I feel like it's such a pressure question as well. Because like I'm thinking like, oh my, like it's actually going to happen.
No, you think, oh, I'm going to have my bracket tomorrow.
On the spot.
No, I think Nando's, Subway, but yeah, let us know what you would pick in the comments. And you mentioned there, Pete, about like Liverpool start the season 6 points out of 6, but there has been, again, I guess, problems in terms of those performances, and blood pressures have been raised in both of them. Obviously, we get over the line, Bournemouth 4-2, mad game, but a great end, and then we get to Newcastle, and again, crazy. It was just a mad game where we knew. Most of us knew going into it, it was going to be horrible, because it was going to be horrible anyway. Going to St James's Park is always hard, but then the Isak stuff is swirling around, and it's creating another layer to what it was, and that kind of just fed into the atmosphere, and that made it into the spicy game that it was.
I think that's a good way to put it, isn't it? Another layer to what it already was anyway, and the fact that it's St James's Park under the lights, they're a good side. They've got a great atmosphere, and we have to give them that. But I also think if you just rewind a moment, if you look back in hindsight, Bournemouth are always a difficult game, aren't they? So Newcastle away is a difficult game, and Arsenal coming up is a difficult game. But August in itself needs to be like judged in its own entity, really, because I don't know if this is a new thing or what I've realised now is that it's just an extension of pre-season. I feel like there's more substitutes from the top managers, and they seem to be, like, pre-season seems to be shorter and shorter. And I know people will talk about summer competitions and things like that, but actually no, I'm talking about the actual pre-season. They have about 3 weeks, and there seems to be less games in pre-season. I know they do the tour, but there seems to be less games and less about fitness. And I think it literally is an extension. So for me, just getting through August, by any means necessary, getting 9 points on the board is like unbelievable, and the fixtures that Liverpool have had so far has been fantastic, just to get the 6 that we've got, but they have been a bit unconvincing, haven't they? So to concede, 4 we've conceded, haven't we, in 2 games, it's not good, and especially against Newcastle as well, because to go 2-0 up against 10 men, the game management was poor, and you can't get away from that fact.
Yeah, it was a mad game. Obviously, like you said, there was the red card just before half time, 1-0 up. We come straight out, we get the second goal straight away. Arne Slot misses it because he's still in the tunnel. So, you know what I mean? So we're 2-0 up, and you think that should be, that's a massive advantage being 2 up and to have the extra man. But Newcastle, fair play to them, they did come at us, you know what I mean? Adopted it was like looked like a 4-3-2, and they basically just went at us, and they used the atmosphere to kind of just ride the wave basically. But the main thing is getting over the line in that game, like you said. We can, and again I agree with you, like in terms of the extension of like pre-season, where we've got these games. And we've got loads of new players as well. Like Kirk hasn't pulled any trees up.
No.
Wirtz hasn't been his best, but he's still young, still bedding in. Ekitike is probably the one where you go, he's settled instantly, because 3 goals in his first 3 games. But Frimpong's new, obviously he's injured now, but there's plenty of new players in there where I think the key for me was before this season, in terms of signing loads of players, we're going to need a little bit of patience for that probably first 4 weeks, 6 weeks, where these players get bedded in and then we start to see them flourish. I mean, I'm hoping that this Newcastle game was a bit of a catalyst for us to start being a bit more rigid, structured at the back and stuff like that.
In the first half, I actually thought we was slightly better. We were a little bit, so they seemed to be, Newcastle were frenetic. It looked like it was very busy, but if you watch the game back, which is, I'm a sad person and I do these things and watch highlights and things next to the highlights. They didn't really lay a glove on us. I know there was the Anthony Gordon header that maybe he should have done better, but really there wasn't that much going on. It was when we went 2-0 up, that's when we conceded all the chances and we were getting bullied then. But I think we do have to be patient with these new signings, and I think that what we've got to remember is that we can bring in a player of Florian Wirtz, his quality, but you've also got to remember his age. He's only 22. I actually don't think he's been too bad. I think Kirkes looks like he's trying to prove himself too much. Again, he's only a young lad. How old is he?
21.
21.
He's a kid. So.
But he's been at AC Milan, and I don't know if a lot of people know that. So he's been at AC Milan, and they signed 2 left backs in front of him. So he's then decided upon himself, I'm not having that. I'm going to go to Bournemouth. I'm going to go and prove myself. So he's a very driven and determined individual. He's then got his big move again. Normally a footballer, only if you get the chance to get your second big move, that is your moment then to go, this is it, because you're not getting a third one. It's very rare. So he started a bit like that, and you don't realise that the pressure might be getting to them because it's still very early on. But he's the one I've been the most disappointed with, if I'm honest, and I feel for Andy Robertson, because we know Robertson's legs are going, and we know that he does need replacing, but he hasn't done. I don't feel like Kirkes has done anything so far, other than the fact that he's more fit and he's more fast. Now I was thinking about Saka. If you're on a slot, you're thinking, I want Kirkes against Saka on Sunday, but he's not even playing.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me now, the jury's out, and got to remember when Andy Robertson come into the side, he was then dropped for 3 months, so you don't know what's going to go on here. But no, I think there's going to be a bit of patience, and they've got to get used to playing with each other. And you've got to remember as well that the midfield has been unbalanced, with Gravenberch missing, McAllister missing. So yeah, it is what it is, and we've got 6 points. So I feel like that's fantastic.
Exactly, and especially like the midfield last season, and generally in footy, the midfield is key. So the fact that we have been having intermittent changes in there with Gravenberch being out for obviously the birth of his kids, and then he was suspended. Then McAllister's been out. Hopefully he'll be back for Arsenal on Sunday, but that doesn't help things obviously. Curtis Jones, I thought Curtis Jones was okay, to be honest, in terms of that game. But
he should have scored, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
He really should have scored, and I think it's moments like that. Liverpool need a bit more conviction. That was disappointing. The only thing I'd just say about new signings as well, though, is Ekitike definitely being the best so far.
Definitely.
But fitness-wise, that's what I'm saying about. Is this an extension of pre-season? Because they just keep taking them off.
Yeah.
And when we're taking them off, we're losing the whole rhythm and flow of the game.
Yeah. We've seen that in the last 2 games with Ekitike. When he goes off, we do retreat a little bit, it seems. But in terms of Hungarian full-back performances, and we talked about Kirkes, Szoboszlai's obviously not a full-back, he's centre midfielder, but he played at right back, and I thought he was, in terms of just like going in there and doing a job for the team up against Harvey Barnes, he was no slouch, do you know what I mean? I thought he's done really well.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we've seen it firstly in pre-season. It's funny sometimes, isn't it? Because when footballers end the season and then you see them a few weeks later, it's only a few weeks later, they come back for pre-season, sometimes they have like a different presence about them.
Yeah.
And when I watched them in pre-season, he looked like a grown man, like as if like, I'm Dominik Szoboszlai.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm one of the senior players now. I'm a Premier League winner, and I'm Mr. Liverpool. And
in that Atletico club game, like just to watch him close up, I thought, I agree completely. Like,
he seems like a bit more. Listen, we've seen the Gerrard comparisons before and all that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about leadership in the sense that he seems to be the guy. I'm going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck type of thing. I remember watching him. It was under Jurgen Klopp actually away to Wolves, and we were getting run ragged. And McAllister got subbed at half time. I think he was. I think he just travelled back.
Yeah, it was when he came back from that. He came back.
And Szoboszlai went into the number 6 role, and he showed a bit of leadership glimpses there. My point is, now I'm seeing it consistently.
Yeah.
And what's going under the radar, and I think it was picked up last week, was his involvement in the Bournemouth goal in the last minute. But his involvement the other night as well, that dummy, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the awareness to have, and the faith that he put in Rio, because so, like someone else might not do that. Like, because I played the football teams myself. If I think I'm good, and I do, by the way.
Everyone thinks the bastard.
I'm just going to try and put the ball in the back, and then I'm going to take a touch or whatever. So to do that is so understated. It's unbelievable.
Game intelligence. Yeah. I think it's boss as well. Like everyone touched it in that. Every person touched the ball in that sequence, apart from Szoboszlai. But his involvement in the goal was probably the most important in terms of like. Obviously, if Rio misses, then obviously no one gives a fuck, do they?
As important.
Yeah.
Which is mad, but do you know what's gone under the radar as well? I feel like that goal was sensational.
It's so good.
Yeah.
When you
and
watch
if it wasn't a 16-year-old finishing it, everyone else would be talking about that more.
But yeah, Rio was getting obviously the plaudits for Premier League debut and a goal on the debut, but it was, when you watch it, and I've watched it probably too many times to be honest, like it's just so good. Other performances as well, I wanted just to mention Van Dijk because it was funny, like Crystal Palace game, it's just, the social media is mad, like just, people can have a bad game and then instantly, oh, you're finished, lad, you're washed, you're cooked and all this shit. And then he puts in a performance like that where people are saying it's one of his best ever, but literally every header he won, even Dan Burn going up late in the game, winning every header against him, he's about 2-3 inches taller than him, and he was just a colossus. And at 34, I knew he wasn't going to be done anyway, but it just proves that there's still loads of life left in Van Dijk.
Yeah, absolutely. He's won more duels than anyone in the Premier League this season, hasn't he? He's had more tackles and more interceptions. I think that's the stats. Obviously, the caveat to that is that he's doing more work than we want him to as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think everyone always forgets that being a centre half is a partnership as well, and I feel like he's been massively let down so far by Ibu. I think he's had a shocking start to the season, and it's not uncharacteristic from Konate either. He does this. He builds himself into games, into form, should I say, and sometimes it takes him 5 or 6 games, and then unfortunately, he picks up an injury, and then and it's repeats. So I feel like we've got to remember that about Van Dijk. But Van Dijk, just his performance, I thought was brilliant. I think it was actually one of his best performances in a Liverpool shirt in his whole entire career. And anyone who's saying he's washed, I reckon in about 15 years' time, he'll still be laced on his boots for one of those charity games where we're like, get him back in, because he's that good.
It's like when Gerrard comes back to the Legends game and he pings a 40-yard and you go, lad, just get the number 8 shirt and get back on the pitch. You know what I mean? But he's just one of them that you'd only appreciate him when he's gone. He's one of them players where you look back in 20 years.
It's scary, isn't it?
20
I
years,
don't even want to think about it.
You'll be like, Van Dijk, oh, what a player. Like, no one's ever going to come close to him because he's just an absolute colossus. But appreciate him while we've got him, because he's still got a few years left. Hopefully a bit more than that as well. But yeah, a boss win, like we said, 6 points out of 6. We go into Arsenal on Sunday. But I just wanted to mention the Carabao Cup stuff, because we have been drawn against Southampton. That was sorted last night. We got them at home in the Carabao Cup, but Man United get knocked out against Grimsby. That was absolutely just like one of them. Like, if Liverpool aren't playing, if Man United are playing a cup game like that, and if they can possibly lose it, it's not as good as a Liverpool win, but it's quite close, I'd say.
No, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, one of the questions. What was the other question? What was the question, Trish? When was the last time I laughed so hard I cried?
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, when was the last time you laughed so hard you cried?
I wasn't quite crying last night, but oh my God, so I was laughing my head off. And I think that's what it is. They're so insignificant now. I'm celebrating less when you lose, if that makes sense. I'm more just having a laugh watching it.
Because when you initially shit, you'd be like, oh, this is boss, like, hope this continues. But now it's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
It's just fucking normal, isn't it?
Well, if the famous Aguero goal when they won the league title, that is me celebrating Man United losing. Last night, I was just like, wow, this is, I'm laughing my head off. And to be honest with you, they've hit a new low that I didn't think that they would, because I put it on last night and then it turned it off, and then I seen Grimsby got a chance and I thought, oh, they're not going to take it because they don't look like they've got that cutting edge. Next minute it's 1-0, next minute I've got to go out the house, so I'm looking on the phone and I see the second goal go in and I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And you knew Harry Maguire was going to do it, didn't he? He always comes back and does it. But then to lose on pens, and for me, I tweeted about it as well, that like their goalie was jumping right, on everyone, and he was doing it early as well. And the Man United players knew that, so then to still lose in that situation, and he was a Man United fan as well, wasn't he? I think he might have did it deliberately. It is shocking. It's the only downside to it. I thought, they've got like less to focus on now. Maybe they'll put it into the league, and I thought, what am I thinking? This is. They're so crap, they're so disjointed, they've got no idea what they're doing. But I can't see him lasting long other than stubbornness, because the Man United, Radcliffe, he got rid of, what's his name, Dan Ashworth? He got rid of him. Dan Ashworth didn't want Amarim because of the whole system, the same reason why Liverpool didn't want him. And he got rid of Dan Ashworth after bringing him in from Newcastle. So the only reason why now he might last a bit longer is just a bit of naivety, a bit of stubbornness in the sense of, I've got to make this work. But it's lovely to watch, isn't it?
It's absolutely, honestly, it's so good. Like, it's just one of them where you just, I'm with you. You're at the point where it's funny, but you're like, this is normal now, but it's the best normal ever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I think people need to really look up to this shit, because without Alex Ferguson, they've been pretty poor throughout the history of football. Pretty much, they had Matt Busby, obviously, Ferguson for that period of time, but Liverpool, no matter what, we've had a series of managers who've won league titles and European Cups and so on, and that's why we have that big banner in the Kop, isn't it? Where Man United, they've only got Alex Ferguson and that's it.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely joyous to watch, and it like just Onana his wrists are just made of quavers, aren't they? It's just absolutely.
I actually think pound for pound, he's the worst goalkeeper ever in the Premier League history. Like, because
he's getting up there. Like,
there's obviously worse goal. I mean, anyone who's old enough will remember Taibbi played for Man United, and we've had a fair few ourselves. But I'm talking about the actual the price they paid for him and the hype. You got to go, wow, that's something else, isn't it? Because I can't remember a goalie, maybe like the one who went to Chelsea, who wouldn't get subbed off in the cup final. Kepa, maybe him, I don't know, but Onana, he just fancies himself as well, doesn't he?
I mean, he's got a good pass on him, but that's literally, I mean, I remember like last season, Man United were like, fans were like posting like, oh, Onana's made like a 98% pass rate, and it's like, that's what you're clinging to. Your goalie should be saving shots, you know what I mean? You don't care.
I always remember when Pep Guardiola come in and he bombed Joe Hart, and I get it over that. I think it was Bravo he brought in, and he was a bit crap. So I get it when he was bringing in Ederson, but I don't get it if you're bringing in a goalkeeper who can't save the ball.
He's basically just an outfield player it's like you're throwing a centre midfielder in goal, and they're good with the feet, but they're not a keeper.
Exactly. You need to be able to save the ball. So it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's so good, honestly. So, I mean, we can talk about that all day, but we won't. Let's talk about Arsenal a little bit, because 3 days away on Sunday. Did we talk about if you're going on? It was on camera or was it off camera?
It was off camera.
You're going,
I am going. Not on the Kop, unfortunately. I'm in the Annie Road. But no, I'll be there.
Same. Upper Main for me. Get my binoculars ready.
Sabitio football,
but you mentioned before, no Saka for them. Odegaard, I'm not too sure. I'm sure we'll hear from Arteta, and I don't know if we have already. I'm not too sure if he's going to be fit for that, but I'm one of them. Like, I always want to play their best team. I don't want to be hearing shitty excuses online going, oh, you only won because X, Y and Z weren't available. But even still, the fact that we haven't got if Saka isn't fit, we haven't got to face him, obviously is good news for Liverpool, because he's going to be one of the main threats. But back at Anfield, 3 games in, hopefully going for 9 points, and they're going to want to come, and this is going to be like some of their fans saying like this is their acid test and stuff. They're going to want to come and make a point early doors and all that type of stuff. But I just think Sunday 4:30, I'd have liked it to have been 8 o'clock just so everyone's got a few more pints down the neck.
Yeah.
But I think atmosphere-wise, early in the season, it's their acid test, but we're going to want to put down a marker as well in this game.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're obviously both on 6 points, and I think I wouldn't discount Manchester City yet, but I do think that Liverpool and Arsenal are both the strong favourites for the title, and it's, without being biased, it's hit or miss depending on who signs who in the last few days of the window, because they're still, I think they've got more strength in depth at the moment. I think, and this is a mad shout, I think the way Liverpool have started and the vulnerability that we've showed, I think the pressure's more on Arsenal to come beat us at Anfield. I think it's their moment.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking at it and saying, we need to go and win away, because Liverpool are already the champions. Arsenal have not done it, and it's not about, it's a bit of banter. They literally haven't won the league for 21 years now, I think it is. So it'll be 22 at least by the end of next season. They need to get that monkey off the back, just like we did. And they need to go and beat us at Anfield, and I think they'll be right up for it. So, listen, I want Liverpool to win 100%, but I don't think if we drew on Sunday, it would be the worst result in the world with our start. That doesn't mean I don't think we can win. What I envisage is, I think they're going to have, it's more difficult to break them down defensively. I mean, they don't stop signing defenders, do they? Defensively,
I know, yeah. Hincapie from Leverkusen.
It's very difficult to score against them, and it is. And I know Man United had plenty of chances against them, but I think it'll be a different game Sunday. And we're still lacking that forward off the bench. I know we can speak about Rio, but bringing a 16-year-old on against Arsenal is a bit different. So I'm a bit worried. I think Liverpool, if we win Sunday, I think it'll be more in the sense that I reckon they'll dominate the ball, but we might be more prolific with the chances. But if we do get the chances, you have to take them against a side like them.
Well, I think that's what, again, we were saying at Ekitike, that's why he's perfect, because I think the only player since Daniel Sturridge in the last 50 years to score in his first 3 games for Liverpool. Yeah. That speaks volumes for me. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, and the fact that he's done it, the goal against Newcastle in particular, I just thought was class. Like the way that he took it was just so elegant. So having him there, hopefully playing more than 6. I think he played like 70 minutes against Newcastle.
Yeah, and maybe he's building up to this moment to play the full 90, because you don't want to be taking your best players off in this game. It's as simple as that. So, to me, the other night, maybe the conversation would be more about it, and I wouldn't have taken Florian Wirtz off. I wasn't happy at all. I felt like when Gerrard got taken off for Lucas Leiva, didn't it? Derby, I know we won that one as well, but it was just like, what is going on here? Type of thing. Yeah. So no, I think if you are pivotal to this football club on Sunday, you want to be playing the full 90 minutes or the full 100 minutes, whatever it is. Yeah. Because do we need to win? No, like I said, I'm not going to contradict myself. I don't think the pressure's on Liverpool. I can see Liverpool drawing and then going to beat them away in a few months when we've got that little bit more settled side. But we want to win, don't we?
I mean, it's one of them. Like I mentioned, that's their acid test, but it's a chance for us to put down a marker. But at the end of the day, if it was a draw, and then it's the other games that are the bigger ones. Like if you bring Arsenal to Anfield and you draw, the grand scheme of things, end of the season, if you go and beat your Bournemouths and your Newcastles and all the other teams, that's where you win the league, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, they celebrated winning the league last season at the Etihad, didn't they get a draw, or did they win? They drew, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think they drew early on, and it was like this, that was their acid test. Yeah. If you want to go and win the league, you need to go and beat your biggest rival straight away, and this is their chance, isn't it? It is,
and especially like you mentioned as well, they're confident because Liverpool haven't been amazing, but it's one of them where at Anfield with the crowd behind the players, we can turn up in a massive way, and like you said, with Ekitike.
We've also got one of the most intelligent managers in the football world. It's as simple as that. So if we can see the mistakes, you can certainly see mistakes that we can't even see, and I think a lot of the trouble that we're getting ourselves into are easily fixed. And like I said right at the beginning of the show, the 2 games that we played so far were really, really difficult on paper, and we've won them both on grass, so that's great.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's go on to we mentioned some of the players we want to see, but let's talk about prediction of the lineup a little bit, because I don't think it'll be probably too dissimilar to the Newcastle game. I mean, obviously, Szoboszlai started at right back. I don't imagine that'll happen again for this game because obviously Conor Bradley came on. You're probably going to see Conor Bradley there, I imagine, but then it's midfield. Then if McAllister's back, Jones drops out, but then it's like, where does Szoboszlai fit in? So it becomes more questions midfield-wise, I think.
Yeah, I think I still think it's too tough to call. I wouldn't be surprised if Szoboszlai still carries on playing right back because, like we spoke about him before, and that responsibility he's got. You started off praising him at right back, and then I ended up praising him for that little dummy at the end and how influential he was. I think he's going to see his role as, I'll do this to X amount of minutes, and then I'm going to move here on 60, 65 or whatever. I still don't think Conor Bradley's fit enough to start. I'd love it if he was. I hope I'm wrong because he's a cracking young talent. But also you've got to protect him as well because you could be playing him and then he could get injured again. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I think the more quality you can get in, who's going to be the better right back in 2 years' time? Conor Bradley or Dominik Szoboszlai? Well, obviously it's going to be Conor Bradley. But who's the better right back right now? Because to me, if I'm playing Arsenal Sunday, and it feels like a one-off game because you don't play for weeks now, do you? Because of that international break.
Exactly.
To me, I want as much quality on the pitch, so I would still play him there personally. Florian Wirtz, McAllister, and Gravenberch in the midfield, and I'd still have Jones dropping out.
Yeah, and then it's probably Salah, Ekitike, and Gakpo, isn't it?
But they pick themselves now, don't they? That's the problem.
It's picked, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even mentioned Isak, but if he comes into the equation, then obviously that's another question for Arne Slot. But like you said, he's so intelligent. Like, I mean, even like when we look at like Ipswich last season, first game of the season, you could see Quansah was having a nightmare.
Yeah.
And he just brought him off, and it was like, that was for me, it was like, you can see the problems that we're seeing, but he's also not scared to make the decisions as well. Yeah,
I love that. I remember being a lot younger and I know people don't like to praise Jose Mourinho, but I liked when Mourinho seen something, he wasn't afraid to make a substitution early. And not a lot of it was made of that last season. I know some people might think it was, but Liverpool fans loved the players, so we didn't want to slam Quansah. But at the end of the day, he just wasn't good enough for Liverpool, and it proved that last season. It's proved that in the summer that we got rid of him, and it was so obvious. He was losing every duel, and for such a big lad as well. And we've got to remember as well, he's not that young. He's about 22, Quansah. Yeah. So he is. I know he's young for a centre half, but people were acting like he was 17. So for him to do that in the first game, because like I always say, you can't lose the league title. Sorry, you can't win the league title in August, but you can lose it. Yeah. And not to beat Ipswich that day could have proved that. So I think going into Sunday, that's what I think Slot will. If you think about how to connect what you just said there about Ipswich, he's gonna. I think he's gonna have as many mature players on that pitch as possible, because there is a lot of young players that have come in as well now.
Yeah, definitely. And well, before we finish up, score prediction. I mean, this is always like, who the fuck knows? But like, I always just want to throw it in. What do you reckon score-wise?
It's hard, isn't it? Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to go with it now, and maybe it's because you put Daniel Sturridge in my head, and I remember him scoring a 1-0 against Stoke in the 13-14 season. I'm going to go 1-0. 1-0 because I don't think anyone is predicting Liverpool to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, true.
And I just wouldn't be surprised if we just tighten up the shop. I think they'll, like I said before, they'll press us high, and I think we'll be on the back foot a little bit, because I just don't think our team's ready yet. Yeah. And I think we'll pick them off at moments, but 1-0.
Hopefully. I mean that's, yeah. I mean, I was thinking instantly 2-1, because I just fancy like them to get one off a set piece, but I hope it's one of them where we're only 2-0 up and you get one late in the day, you know what I mean, where there's no time left to get another. Yeah. But I don't think there's going to be there's not going to be much in it, is there? That's
no, what I will say is though, and I know the league title was wrapped up last season, but when we went 2-0 up a few months ago, there was opportunities where we could have went 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, Trent came on, didn't he? So it was just, it turned into a bit of a
I know.
circus.
It is, you're right, yeah. And obviously we'd already won the league. Yeah. But you've got to take them chances. You can't let a team like this off the hook. And I'm just going to go for a sneaky 1-0 win. You're going 2-1.
2-1. Yeah.
3 points is the most important, isn't it?
I mean, I've saw a lot of their fans saying this is a good time to play us, and we saw Gary Neville and that them type of people saying that in the past. Like we came to Anfield and they were like, this is the most confident I've ever been. They got fucking slapped 7-0. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
So
we can't have him at the end of this weekend's buzzing, can we? Because he supports Arsenal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I've got to double down on Arsenal. Like even Arsenal score, you can hear like a little element of proper extra joy in his voice.
And anyone who's slamming him, leave him alone. It's fair play to him. He hates us that much.
Yeah, you know what, he does. To be fair to him, and it's reciprocated in twofold. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Pete, nice one. Nice one for jumping on.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was episode 3 of season 2 of Pod and a Pint. We were in the Masonic arms. Yeah, and nice one for watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.